Great. Okay, so now I have all these different little variations. I have the main one up here that I'll leave the same name, and I'll just call these ones hits, right? Sorry about that. I have this weird habit. I think it's from actually like most word processing documents that I always press tab too much, and it makes me jump around Ableton a lot. Okay, so we've done the exact same thing. We're going to select them all, and we're going to make the quantization low, like 16th. Alright, so we can see that we already have a couple of cool ideas going on here. Let's not get too excited. Now, the one thing that is going to be different in this one is I'm going to actually take these little variations and I'm going to put them on their own track. So I'm going to go ahead and make another track right here. And, oh, sorry about that. We'll make it like this. Okay, so now we have something's going on here. We can go. We'll just actually have the original going on. Alright, we can see how this is going to be a problem, right? Because you can see that as soon as I play one of these hits, the volume just spikes. Despite there being a whole bunch, you know, besides the fact there's a whole bunch of like frequency problems and, you know, anyway, it's a mess. So, the way that we're going to do this is actually we're going to do something called ducking. And what ducking is doing, and like a lot of you guys who are really into sidechaining your bass lines will recognize this, you can actually take the volume of one track and use it to force down the volume of another track. So in this case, we want the volume of this main track to duck whenever I play a sample in track 3, for example. And what we can do is we can actually do this with either compression or gating. I'm going to use gating just because that's what I like to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and put gate here. And we're going to have the side chain coming from audio 3 here, right? The reason is that the audio from this track is going to go into the gate right here and force the volume down. And this is really important. Look what happens, right? If you don't, if I press play now, well, that's weird. So right now it's only actually, the volume actually only goes up when a sample from this track is played, right? Which is the opposite of what I want. So remember if you're ever using the gate and you're getting the opposite effect of what you want, you just need to press flip. That's all you need to do, okay? So that will, as long as you press flip, the side chain is going to force the volume down. If you don't have flip open, it's going to force the volume up, which is what we don't want. Alright, so now we're starting to get the idea, right? We're having a little bit of an issue here because the quantization is still on that 16th. So we're going to want to go ahead and take off the quantization. So now the quantization is off, I should be able to just... One thing you're going to need to keep in mind, though, which is actually kind of a weird problem, but is definitely a problem, is that after you play one of these hits, you're going to have to press stop in order to stop them, right? Because right now it's just going to play back forever and ever. So the reason, so you'll see what happens. Like, so that little hit that I played there keeps going for a bar, and you're like, well, that's weird because I have the quantization set to none, right? So you should be able to just stop it as quick as you want to. The thing that you need to keep in mind is that first of all, the trigger mode is going to make the clip play until it is stopped. And the thing that is interesting is that these stop buttons still react to the global quantization, which in this case is 1 bar. So even though you can start this clip whenever you want to, you can only stop it on the bar, which is kind of a weird thing, right, if you think about it. So you have a couple of options here. either you can change the launch mode right here, so you can actually change it to gate, which means it'll only play for as long as I have the pad pressed down. Right, so if I just like tap it, it's gonna be really. So, you know, if I just tap it really quickly, it's really short. So that's a really useful way to do it. The other thing that you can do is that you can just turn the global quantization back down to 1/16 or none in this case. But I wouldn't recommend in any DJ set having the quantization set to 1/16, or to none rather, because it's really going to probably cause you at some point to start tracks out of sync, and that's going to just be, it's actually, and the reason is not because I don't think that if you're a DJ you should be able to recover from that. It's just that it's really difficult in Ableton once you get tracks started out of sync to get them back in sync. And that's just because of the way that the interface is. And you know, there's some nudging you can do, and there's all kinds of workarounds they try to introduce, but the fact of the matter is it's kind of difficult to do. So keep that in mind.